According to wedding planning company The Knot, the global annual spend on weddings is $250 billion. In the U.S. alone, that number is $100 billion. To break it down, that's over $63 billion on wedding events, over $15 billion on registry, and over $14 billion on jewelry. But as we all know, COVID has shaken up this industry, and brides and grooms everywhere have had to change plans for their big day. Joining us now to discuss COVID's impact on the industry is Kristen Maxwell Cooper, editor-in-chief of The Knot. Kristen, great to have you with us on the show today. So how has The Knot been helping couples plan for their big days during COVID?
You know, this is obviously unprecedented. That's the buzzword, right, this year. So we've been, at The Knot, we've been doing a lot of different things. We've been creating tons of content. We have a hub that gives answers to all of the questions that couples may be, having during this time. We also set up a hotline this spring that couples could call into and talk to a wedding expert, whether that was somebody at The Knot or an event planner or somebody like that, to just answer questions, right? Where do I begin to postpone my celebration? Is it safe? What are some safety options that I have? Those types of things.
Kristen, I imagine 2021 is going to be a big year for weddings for those who postpone from this year. What are some of The Knot's biggest trend predictions for next year?
Absolutely. So I think that this is going to come as no surprise, but couples are going to be prioritizing health and safety, not just for themselves and their guests, but also for their vendors. So, according to our data, nearly all couples with upcoming dates are making some sort of adjustment to their future event. So that means that they are watching the local event restrictions and abiding by those, and they are adding things to their celebration that will prioritize the health and safety. So that's things like hand sanitizing stations, masks, right? We'll continue to see masks into 2021. Couples will be looking to add monograms or have them in colors that match their wedding. But in addition to individualized personal food offerings, so that we aren't sharing big meals together, but we have individual appetizers, cakes, those types of things.
I love the ideas of mini cakes and cupcakes instead of a traditional wedding cake. But looking at the timelines, right? Still so much unknown about when vaccines will be available in mass next year, when it's actually safe to have weddings. What have been the trends as far as postponements and cancellations?
So we just did a study, and couples who had weddings planned between September and on, about 35% are postponing because they just don't know, right? And the uncertainty is leaving them feeling anxious and overwhelmed, so they're just postponing their weddings out. But that leaves a decent amount of couples who are continuing to plan their weddings and continuing to move forward with them. So really they are just looking to change formats. They're going to shrink their guest lists, and then they're going to do other things that make sure that their event is safe for their guests. So those are things that we just talked about, like masks and like individualized portions for appetizers and main courses and cakes and things like that. And then they're also going to have a Zoom element in most cases. They're going to have a virtual element so that they can keep that in-person guest list very small, but still celebrate with their friends and families from across the country.
How does that work, the hybrid in-person Zoom wedding? Are you setting up like laptops and technology so you can see the bride and groom get married?
Absolutely. And, imagine big projector screens, which I know everyone has seen on their Instagram for movie nights and things like that. But imagine that at different nuptials, across the country. And then just sitting down and having one-on-one moments with the couple. We're also seeing that couples are, instead of the traditional gift bag, they're often sending gift boxes to their guests who are just, Zooming in virtually so that they can really feel a part of the day.
Kristen, you guys also found that 12% of couples are actually moving their new wedding date to a different day of the week, which I find fascinating. Why are they choosing to do that? And especially on weekdays, I understand.
Yeah, so there's a lot of reasons. One, when you're postponing, oftentimes it's hard to coordinate all of the vendors' schedules, right? You chose these vendors for a reason, and you want to move forward with all of those vendors. So So by choosing a Thursday or a Friday, even a Monday, which we've seen, you're guaranteed, or you're going to be, it's going to be easier for you to get all of your vendors on that day. Also, just with so many people rescheduling and postponing to 2021, a lot of those traditional Saturdays are taken already. So couples are just looking for other days of the week and other options.
Wow, Monday weddings, who would have thought? Kristen, thank you so much for your insight and time today. That's Kristen Maxwell Cooper, editor-in-chief of The Knot. Thanks again.